Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
While you might be planning your New Year's resolution, there doesn't appear to be any resolution in Washington. I'm Tom Hansen with day 10 of the partial government shutdown.
And in Helena, a total of 3 buildings burned in a fire at a business. Coming up, how the fire started and how 8 fire departments cooperated to get it out. Good morning to you. Welcome to your December 31st. I cannot believe it's the last day of 2018.
Oh, it's amazing.
Wow.
It's cold.
And it's cold.
Yeah. Temperatures this morning are very frigid. We have some light snow still falling and ice is on the roadways. And we're getting snow and ice reports for Homestake Pass, Bozeman Pass, Gallatin Canyon. We're watching some of the plows rolling through. They're working pretty hard to get things cleared up, but it's still going to be an icy one. Temperatures right now, single digits for most of the area, but look at the sub-zero temperatures when you factor in the wind. The wind chill, our biggest factor throughout the morning hours. I do expect to see some ice on the area roadways. The good news is most of the snow is very light and moving out as our skies slowly clear. Temperatures should be back into single digits, low teens as you head into the afternoon. Talk more about your complete forecast, of course, coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Our top story for you now out of West Yellowstone. A helicopter was used to rescue an injured snowmobiler after a crash on a trail near West Yellowstone. It happened on Friday afternoon on South Plateau Trail, about 3 miles southeast of West Yellowstone. A 61-year-old Massachusetts man lost control of his machine and crashed into a tree. He suffered rib injuries and a severe blow to his chest. Because the patient suffered from a heart condition, a chopper was called in. Gallatin County Sheriff Brian Goodkin reminds snowmobilers to be careful when recreating in the backcountry, even when on a groomed trail. Changing terrain and trail conditions can sometimes bring unexpected conditions. Goodkin says always remember to ride with a partner and carry a reliable means of communication in case of an emergency. And Washington appears to be ready to ring in the new year with a partial government shutdown. It's now about a week and a half into that shutdown, and both sides appear to have made little to no progress arguing over that border wall funding. CBS's Tom Hansen has our details from New York.
10 days into the partial government shutdown, President Trump and the Democrats remain at odds over funding for a border wall.
We are not willing to pay $2.5 billion or $5 billion in wasting taxpayer dollars on a ransom note because Donald Trump decided that he was going to shut down the government and hold the American people hostage.
Congressman Hakeem Jeffries told ABC this week Democrats are willing to provide money for other border security measures, but called the wall medieval.
Our negotiations are at an impasse at the moment.
Senator Richard Shelby said on Face the Nation the Republican-controlled Senate will only take up a bill with the president's support.
Nobody wins in a shutdown. We all lose, and we kind of look silly.
On Sunday, President Trump called it the Schumer shutdown, despite taking responsibility for it just a few weeks ago.
I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it.
Meanwhile, his aides and supporters took new aim at defining the wall.
The wall has become a metaphor for border security.
Outgoing Chief of Staff John Kelly bluntly told the LA Times, to be honest, it's not a wall, insisting it would instead be a mixture of steel slats and technological enhancements.
It is a silly semantic argument because people who just want to say wall, wall, wall want it to be a 4-letter word.
Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, wouldn't rule out a presidential veto if Congress passes a clean bill without border funding. Tom Hansen, CBS News.
Democrats take control of the House on Thursday, and they are expected to pass a clean funding bill. Yet it's unclear at this time if the Senate will follow suit without President Trump's support. In news a little bit closer to home, a woman allegedly stabbed her boyfriend in the chest on Friday afternoon. Gallatin County Sheriff's Office release tells us that the stabbing happened at a house near the Lava Lake trailhead in the Gallatin Canyon. A caller told dispatchers that people had been using illegal drugs and the suspect had possibly become paranoid that the others were going to harm her. The woman's boyfriend attempted to comfort her when others said they could not drive. When they approached her, she used a folding knife to stab him once in the upper chest area. Now, on our websites, you can read what charges she's facing and how she continued to put up a fight with deputies once they arrived. The victim was transported to Bozeman Deaconess Health Hospital for treatment of a non-life-threatening injury. And the man accused of firing several shots into an Uptown Butte office building before leaping out a second-story window does remain hospitalized with several broken bones. Butte Undersheriff George Skuliff says that the man is under armed guard at the hospital, and law enforcement will have him guarded until charges are filed, until he's brought to the detention center. The 28-year-old Butte man, armed with a 9mm handgun, first entered the lobby of the police station at about 4:30 on Thursday afternoon. He was yelling that he was in danger and also being chased. He left the station and ran across the street into the Synesis office, where he threatened to shoot people before locking himself into one of the offices. He then shot through a window and then jumped out of a second story. Police are trying to determine if the gunman was having a mental health issue or if he was under the influence of drugs. Now, while Thursday's violence was going down, Butte police officers at Central High School were conducting an active shooter training. So they were all geared up and they ran into that threat area. Now, no one other than the gunman was injured, and the police fired no shots during that incident. And the acting president for the Northern Cheyenne Tribe, Conrad Fisher, confirms to MTN News that the body was discovered early Friday evening outside of Lame Deer was that of the missing 14-year-old girl, Henny Scott. A volunteer search party was looking for her at the Muddy Creek area. Her body was found covered in snow. An FBI spokeswoman says that there will be an autopsy to determine the cause of her death. Scott was a freshman at Lame Deer High School. She would have turned 15 this January. Helena Valley Saddle Shop was destroyed in yesterday's large fire. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian reports on what firefighters believe to have started it.
On Sunday, flames and heavy black smoke rose from a saddle shop on Toohey Drive in the Helena Valley. The fire started before noon. East Valley Fire Chief Dave Salmon said it appears the fire was started by a heat lamp in a chicken coop. It then spread to an adjacent building where hay was stored.
It was stuffed to the gills with hay. Right now, all of that hay caught fire, so we're having to pull that hay out, spread it out, and put it out.
The fire reached the main shop, where it burned equipment, several vehicles, and ammunition. A propane tank also vented.
It was very dangerous just because we didn't know what we had.
The weather also interfered with firefighters as a cold front brought in heavy snow and wind.
It forced us to move to the west because it just inundated our apparatus with smoke.
No one was inside the building, but Salmon said some chickens and rabbits were killed. No firefighters were injured. Salmon said the building was too unstable for crews to enter.
I wasn't going to put a firefighter in there and have a roof come down on them.
They had to use heavy equipment to bring down the walls and reach the remaining fire. Salmons thanked the property owners for cooperating with firefighters.
I feel bad for them. That was a big business that they lost, so they lost everything in there.
In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Jonathan does add more than 40 firefighters were on the scene from at least 8 different agencies. And Senator Jon Tester was on the CBS News Network program Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan yesterday to talk about the ongoing government shutdown. Senator Tester says that President Trump has not been consistent in his funding request for the border wall, allegedly increasing his original $1.6 billion request to $5 billion. The senator also addressed the trade war with China and how it hurts American farmers because of the narrow margins in production that are affected with the loss in exports.
Well, margins in production agriculture are always really narrow, and so when you get a situation where you start to lose export markets, which is what has happened with this trade war, you end up lowering prices at the farm gate. You have more farms that potentially go into a situation where they're not solvent anymore and bankruptcy.
Now, Tester added that he has about 40% of his crop still on his farm because of the trade war. He believes we need to hold China accountable, but we need to hold those markets accountable as well. Now, during the summer wildfire season, smoke can turn the sky brown for days on end. But the wintertime, air quality is not always perfect either. MTN's Katie Alexander has more on how high pressure can equal low air quality.
In wintertime, inversions can be persistent, causing frigid temperatures and hazy skies. But what exactly is an inversion?
In the summertime, the temperature decreases with height. So when you climb up a mountain, it's colder at the top of the mountain than it is down at the bottom. But in the wintertime, for a variety of reasons, that flips and it's colder at the surface sometimes and it's warmer above. And that acts as a lid that doesn't allow much mixing.
Warm air rises, but cold air becomes trapped in valleys. High pressure also worsens inversions because a stable atmosphere means less wind and less air mixing.
You end up with pollution building up in the valleys, and sometimes, depending on the weather pattern, this can last for days. the mountains act as kind of a bowl to continue to trap that pollution. And also because there's so little sunlight, the ground tends to be colder in the winter here. And then with our snowfall, that also helps promote inversions.
And along with lower temperatures comes lower air quality. The haze you see during a particularly strong inversion is mainly due to wood-burning stoves. The pollutants measured in the winter are the same as what's measured in the summer during wildfire season.
We're measuring particulate matter 2.5. That's what's reported on our Today's Air website, and it does a good job of measuring both our summer wildfire impacts and our winter wood stove impacts that we see in our valleys.
And now you're a little more weather-wise.
Always some helpful tips there about air quality, no doubt about it.
Just getting ready to go outside.
Yeah,
actually.
Gearing up. I had to interrupt you. Sorry for that. Stay with us in a moment. Matt does head outside. Take a look at the forecast. We also look at the biggest New Year's Eve party in the country. How Times Square is gearing up for security measures tonight. Plus, here's a look at what else is happening on Montana this morning.
Losing weight is one of the most popular New Year's resolutions every year. I'm Hillary Lane with tips for setting workout goals you'll actually stick to.
Ahead on CBS This Morning, we're in Times Square where hundreds of thousands of people will ring in 2019. We'll look at the high-tech security designed to protect the massive crowds. And after a year of destructive fires, we're going to introduce you to one Silicon Valley entrepreneur who hopes augmented reality can make it easier for firefighters to save lives. It's all coming up at 7. We'll see you then.